I'm excited to see you again. In this episode, I want to share with you on something really interesting. But before we look at all that, one quick question for you. What do you see in here? Do you think that this glass of water is half full or half empty? Well, if you should say that this glass of water is half full, you're right. And if you should say that it is half empty, you are also right. It's all about your perspective. And your perspective really matters. In fact, your perspective rules your life. In this episode, I'd like to share with you on, why your perspective really matters. But before we delve into all that, what do we really mean by perspective? Two things actually describe perspective. Number one, what you see or how you see things, the way you perceive things. And number two, how you think, what you think, that is to say, your mentality. These two are also closely related. I'll explain why. Number one, the way you think or your mentality influences how you see things. A clear example is that of a lady who thinks that, all men are the same or all men are cheats. If this lady should have this kind of mentality, it would surely influence the way she begins to see men around her. And if she's married or she has a fiancé or a boyfriend, she might think that, they are all the same as, every other man. Well, men perhaps may have their issues, but if a lady is always thinking that all men are the same, all men are cheats, it will surely impact how she begins to see the men around her. Number two, the way you see things also impacts, your mentality. A clear example is that of Abraham in the Bible. In Genesis chapter 13, verse 14, God wanted to introduce Abraham to greatness. But, God told Abraham to first of all come out of his house and look into the sky. He told Abraham, look to the north, to the south, the east, and the west. For as far as your eyes can see, this is how great I'm going to make you. And Abraham first had to capture greatness with his eyes. Then it began to have an impact on his mentality, and eventually Abraham became great. So you see how, what you see influences your mentality. Dear friend, what are you looking at? What do you perceive? How do you see things? Who are you looking at? Who are you looking up to? It will surely influence your thinking pattern. But the interesting thing is that your perspective, that is to say, the way you see things and the way you think, doesn't just stop there. It moves on to, impact on the way you behave and how you become. Please take note of this, that what you see, you begin to behave, and what you behave, you become. What you also think, you begin to behave, and eventually you become that. In Proverbs chapter 23, verse 7, the Bible says that, for as he thinketh, so is he. The bottom line is, you are what you think. Now, what are the action steps that we need to take with regards to perspective? Number one, always see things in a positive point of view. Always see things, from a positive perspective. Number two, think positivity always. Think greatness all the time. My question still remains. What do you see in this glass of water? What do you see? Do you think this glass of water is still half full or half empty? Well, I want to believe that you have the right answer now. This is all I have for you in this episode, and I'll surely see you again in the next. But before that, always see things from a positive point of view. Stay blessed. Bye.